All right, let's talk about a scenario that every guy has faced at least once. Seeing a woman who catches your attention, but she seems completely uninterested, closed off, or just downright unapproachable. Society often tells us that when a woman isn't giving obvious signals, it's a sign to back off, right? But here's the truth. Not every disinterested look means a woman isn't curious or open to an approach. Sometimes it's about reading between the lines, interpreting subtle cues, and understanding that first impressions aren't always accurate. Now, before anyone jumps to conclusions, let's clear something up. This isn't about crossing boundaries or ignoring clear no signals. This is about handling the nuances. There's a massive difference between understanding the art of subtle pursuit and being invasive. A lot of men miss out on meaningful connections because they misinterpret her guarded vibe as total disinterest. What if there's a way to approach that keeps her comfortable, but still allows you to explore the potential for something real? Many women aren't going to give obvious cues. They might be reserved, shy, or cautious. Sometimes they're testing to see if you have the confidence and approach that stand out from all the other guys who take the easy way out. If you can learn to handle these situations with respect, patience, and yes, a bit of courage, you're setting yourself apart in a big way. In this video, we're breaking down exactly how to approach a woman who might not seem interested on the surface. We'll talk about how to keep things natural, show genuine interest, and avoid coming on too strong. Because here's the thing, approaching a woman confidently, even if she doesn't seem engaged, is about showing her that you're a guy who's comfortable in his skin. You're not just another guy making a move. You're someone willing to look past the surface, to engage respectfully, and be open to where things go. So, if you're tired of feeling confused by mixed signals or frustrated by closed-off body language, stay tuned. We're about to dive into 5 effective, respectful strategies that'll help you make a memorable impression, even when she doesn't seem interested. 1. Read her subtle signals. When it comes to understanding if a woman might be open to talking, even if she seems disinterested at first, subtle signals can be your best friend. Often, guys miss out on potential connections simply because they're not picking up on these minor cues, assuming all signs point to not interested when, in reality, there's more under the surface. So what are these signals? First, let's talk about eye contact. If she glances your way, even briefly, or lets her gaze linger a second too long before looking away, that could be her way of gauging your confidence. Quick, repeated glances can mean she's curious but hesitant. She may not look overly interested, but that brief eye contact is a window. She's giving you the space to approach, but she's not going to make it obvious. Confidently hold eye contact for a moment and smile subtly. That can be enough to show her you're interested without being overwhelming. Another subtle signal is body positioning. Is she turning her body even slightly toward you, or aligning herself in your general direction? These micro adjustments might not look like much, but if she's angling herself towards you, even while appearing disinterested, it can indicate she's not fully closed off. People naturally angle themselves away from what they want to avoid and turn slightly toward what they're open to. Pay attention to these shifts. Now, here's a practical example. Imagine you're in a cafe and there's a woman nearby reading. She hasn't given you an obvious invitation, but you've noticed that every once in a while she glances in your direction. She keeps her body turned slightly towards you, though she's pretending to be absorbed in her book. Instead of writing her off as closed off, approach with something lighthearted and relevant, like, "Hey, any book recommendations for someone new to this cafe scene?" You're showing that you've noticed her without coming on strong. You're acknowledging her subtly open signals without being pushy. By paying attention to these little cues, eye contact, body language, subtle engagement, you'll be able to sense when it's okay to approach, even if her initial vibe seems indifferent. Sometimes the signals are small because she's cautious or testing to see if you can read them. The key is in noticing the details, not assuming you've got her figured out based on just one look. 2. Approach with calm confidence. Confidence is essential, but when you're approaching a woman who seems uninterested, it's not about being flashy or loud. The secret? Calm, grounded confidence. The kind that shows you're comfortable with yourself and not rattled by first impressions. Women notice when a man is calm, self-assured, and collected. It shows that you're mature and confident enough not to rely on overly bold gestures to get attention. So, what does this look like in practice? First, keep your energy relaxed. Resist the urge to prove yourself right out of the gate. If she seems a bit standoffish or distracted, a calm approach shows her that you're not easily thrown off. You're just a guy who's comfortable enough in his own skin to approach, regardless of her initial vibe. Start by walking up without any grand gestures, no exaggerated movements or over-the-top cool guy persona. Just be yourself, steady and approachable. Your calm presence will speak volumes, and it can subtly shift her perception of you from just another guy to someone she might want to know better. Also, don't overdo the smiles or try to be too charming. A natural, friendly demeanor will always be more appealing than a forced one. Give her space to get comfortable and show that you're genuinely interested in talking, not just rushing to make a point. When she sees that you're relaxed and confident, she may feel more comfortable letting her guard down. A practical example. Let's say you're at a social event and you notice a woman sitting alone, seemingly uninterested in her surroundings. Instead of charging in with a compliment or big introduction, approach her calmly and say something like, "Hey, I noticed you're here solo too. Do you mind if I join you for a few minutes?" It's simple, respectful, and unassuming. You're making it easy for her to say yes without feeling pressure. This calm approach, without any intense expectations, gives her a chance to shift her initial impression of you. When you're calm and collected, she'll notice that you're not fazed by a seemingly closed-off demeanor and that confidence can be intriguing. Remember, calm confidence isn't about having all the right lines. It's about being comfortable in yourself, creating a relaxed interaction, and giving her the freedom to respond genuinely. With this energy, even if she's hesitant at first, she may just find herself opening up. 3. Show genuine curiosity, not just interest. There's a big difference between showing interest and showing curiosity, and that difference can make or break your approach. When you're interested, it can sometimes feel a bit one-sided, like you're more focused on the outcome or the chance of a connection than actually getting to know who she is. Curiosity, on the other hand, is about taking a genuine interest in the person in front of you, without rushing to conclusions or expectations. Women pick up on this difference instantly. Think about it. No one likes to feel like they're just the next target of someone's attention. When a guy approaches with that trying to impress vibe, it's often obvious he's more focused on making something happen than on actually connecting. Showing curiosity means you're approaching her like you would anyone else you'd like to get to know better. It's a mindset shift from, "What can I get out of this?" to, "What can I learn from this person?" Women can feel the authenticity of that, and it stands out immediately. Instead of zeroing in on the typical conversation starters or compliments, start asking questions that actually matter. Show that you're curious about her unique perspective, experiences, or outlook on life. It's not just about finding a connection, it's about being genuinely interested in her world. Most women can tell when a man is truly curious, and it's refreshing because it shows he's there for more than just surface-level reasons. Women are used to hearing lines, seeing guys go for compliments, or putting on a certain act. So when a man genuinely wants to know who she is, it's both disarming and intriguing. This doesn't mean turning the conversation into an interview or bombarding her with questions either. It's more about listening and responding with natural, engaging questions that show you're interested in her perspective, not just making yourself look good. Plus, when you're genuinely curious, you're not so hung up on the what-ifs. You're more relaxed, more open to wherever the conversation goes. It's easy to tell when someone's in it for the real connection, and it's even easier to see when someone's just putting in the bare minimum to achieve a goal. By focusing on curiosity, you take the pressure off, and she senses that you're genuinely present with her, something a lot of guys overlook. So, drop the agenda, let go of any expectations, and approach with real curiosity. It'll stand out, and you might just find that she opens up in ways you hadn't expected. 4. Respect her boundaries without backing off too quickly. This is where a lot of guys either misread the room or, honestly, give up too fast. It's no secret that respecting boundaries is essential in any interaction, but sometimes men interpret respecting boundaries as an all-or-nothing approach. Either they back off entirely at the first sign of hesitation, or they're so worried about being too much that they end up coming across as disinterested. Here's the reality, though. Understanding boundaries doesn't mean you have to retreat at the slightest sign of resistance. Yes, there's a fine line here, but that's where you, as a guy, need to wake up a bit. If every time a woman hesitates, you're ready to disappear, it sends a message that you're not all that invested. Respecting boundaries means giving her space, yes, But it also means showing that you're genuinely there, willing to stay, and show her you're not easily deterred. Sometimes a woman might be testing if you're truly interested in her, or if you're just in it for the chase. A lot of men also mistake this process as rejection. If she's hesitant or gives off a reserved vibe, they immediately jump to the conclusion that she's completely uninterested. But here's the truth. Sometimes, women need time to feel comfortable, especially if they're getting approached frequently. If every man backs off at the first sign of guardedness, she's never going to get a chance to see who's actually serious about getting to know her. This isn't about persistence in the traditional sense. It's about a balanced approach. You can respect her space and boundaries while still being present and interested. Don't just walk away, stay engaged, but give her room to decide if she's ready to respond. You'll show her that you're patient and respectful, but not overly passive. Guys, it's time to step it up. If you're always backing off at the first sign of difficulty, it may reflect a lack of confidence in yourself and what you have to offer. Respect doesn't mean surrendering the moment there's a challenge. It's about showing that you value her comfort and believe enough in yourself to stay present. So, be steady, be patient, and respect her cues without assuming that every "not right now" means never. If she's worth it, you'll have to show you're worth her time too. 5. Make her laugh without trying too hard. There's a reason people say laughter is the way to someone's heart. Humor, when used naturally, breaks down walls and builds connection faster than just about anything else. But here's where a lot of guys miss the mark. Humor shouldn't feel like a performance. Women can tell immediately if you're trying too hard to be funny or relying on a routine to impress. Real humor is relaxed, unforced, and confident, and it doesn't need to be over the top to make an impact. Here's the truth. Trying too hard to be funny can actually have the opposite effect. Overdone humor, whether it's a bunch of jokes or a forced laugh at your own punchline, comes across as insecure. It signals that you're relying on humor to gain approval, and that rarely lands well. Real confidence is about sharing what makes you genuinely laugh, rather than trying to impress with an act. A good laugh should feel natural, not rehearsed. Women can sense the difference and will appreciate authenticity over any forced punchline. One of the best ways to make her laugh without forcing it is to keep things light and relevant to the moment. It doesn't have to be a perfectly crafted joke. It could be something you both notice, like a quirky observation about the environment you're in, or something relatable that shows you're not taking yourself too seriously. Real moments are funny in themselves, and if you're paying attention to the flow of the conversation, humor can come up naturally. A good sense of humor is about self-awareness, too. Don't be afraid to make a lighthearted joke at your own expense, especially if it's something endearing or relatable. This kind of humor shows that you're grounded and comfortable with yourself. Two qualities that are attractive all on their own. Women find it refreshing when a guy doesn't feel the need to come off as perfect, but can laugh at his own quirks. It creates a sense of ease and shows that you're genuinely comfortable with who you are. Ultimately, it's about making her feel comfortable and relaxed, not like she's an audience at a comedy show. If you can get her to laugh naturally, it means she's lowering her guard and feeling at ease around you. This relaxed connection goes a long way toward making a lasting impression. So, remember, keep it light, keep it real, and let the humor come from genuine moments. It'll resonate more than any routine or line ever could. Let's wrap this up with a bold truth. The way you approach a woman is a direct reflection of how much you value yourself. If you're hesitant, trying too hard, or constantly second-guessing, you're telling her, and yourself, that you're not sure you're worth her time. It's time to break that cycle. Approach her with confidence and authenticity. She'll feel it, and so will you. I want to hear from you. Drop your stories and questions in the comments, and I'll be checking them out personally. Let's keep this conversation going. Your experiences matter here. Thanks as always for watching. And until next time, this is Stoic Approach to Life.